Fellow Ghanaians, good evening and thank you very much for on the JoyNews channel. It's a Thursday evening, and even as the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee sits in Parliament publicly and, inviting persons who have submitted memos on the, anti-LGBTQ bill. Our focus this evening is on the Volta region. Our focus is on those who have been displaced as a result of a storm surge. Now this evening, our focus is on the people of Fuveme, Kejikope, Salakope, and other areas who are struggling as a result of this storm surge. Just imagine 234 students being displaced as a result. Just think about those students. And this evening, I want you to picture it, because I'm going to be showing it to you shortly. Now, in a whole school, from primary 1 to JHS 2, they are all being taught in one classroom, and JHS 3 taught in another, because they are left with only 2 classrooms. In fact, the whole school, which collapsed and was rebuilt in 2016, has collapsed again as a result of a storm surge. We know the story of some people who earlier resorted to having to wait for a church to close before they could sleep. Well, government has sent relief items, but they say, thank you, but maybe you could have done more for us. This evening, we'll be finding out what government intends to do, what more is in the pipeline, because we're joined here on Upfront on the JoyNews channel by Saji Amedonu, who is a Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization. My name is Winston Amwa, but before we get into the conversation about what else has to be done and whether there are enough relief items, Maxwell Abagwa was there, and he's come through with this report, the sad state of students at Fuveme.
It is still high tide at Fuveme. The tidal waves that hit this community left in its trail uprooted coconut trees, collapsed residential structures and school buildings. 60-year-old Knowledge Diwanu giving instructions to a carpenter who is removing the roofing sheets of what he now describes as his former building. He says he was in his room when the disaster struck. Like him, many residents have lost hope that the situation will get better. He says many of them are now resorting to palm branches and thatch for their buildings as they fear any other expensive material used will be a wasted investment.
I can say that I was born in 1974 in my house. This is my house. From here to the seashore is about 1,500 meters when I was very young. Okay. Yeah, 1,500 meters from the sea when I was very young. But up to this time, you can now see the sea from here is about 30 meters. So the sea is gradually coming, getting nearer to us. Since I was in 1980s to 1990s, the sea is coming gradually. We are shifting from concrete to coconut branches because of the sea waves. Because if you build the house, the sea destroys. Nobody do anything for us. In 1998, the sea destroyed the Fuveme land. It destroyed some part of the Fuveme land. Therefore, people relocated somewhere in part of the Fuveme again. But in 2016, the sea has destroyed the Fuveme again and destroyed the property of the government, that is the building of the school building. The school has been destroyed by the tidal waves in 2016. So they relocated and built another school at a new place called Agokeji. It's also a suburb of Fuveme. Agokeji is a suburb of Fuveme. So the engineers, they all come and make assess and they do the assessment that the school can be relocated there so that the sea will not destroy it. And by that time, the place where the school was relocated was about 1,000 meters from the sea. But now you can see it is about 25 to 30 meters from the sea, and the sea has destroyed the school too, and destroyed the property of the people, the houses and everything. the poultry, which people keep for their food. The sea has destroyed and destroyed our properties, our houses too. And now, as I'm talking now, some of us, we don't have no place to sleep, and we don't have no food to eat too, because if the sea rough, we cannot go to fishing. So, and because of we don't get any place to sleep, we don't get any place to stay, going to work is a problem for us. So this thing is happening for a long time when we were very young, but no solution is coming for us, or nobody is helping us. So we are appealing for the government of Ghana today, the President, the Excellency of the Republic of Ghana, the Minister for Works and Housing, who is responsible for sea defense, should come to the village, the Puvema, should come and see what is happening here. This thing happening here is very serious than any disaster happening in our coastal area here. The sea has destroyed, and we remove the slate and put it somewhere, because we don't get any place to make another structure again. So we are just in the we are stranded. We don't have no place to stay. So even if rain is falling, it falls on us, because we don't have no place to stay. Because for me to go to my brothers and sisters, they too, they don't have any place to stay. There is water in the houses of the people. So people are suffering a lot. So we are appealing for the government of Ghana to come and do ground or sea defense for us. This is happening for a long time when we are very young, but nobody is pleading us. I don't know what I'll say. So we are suffering. We are also human beings like the other people in Ghana. And we are also Ghanaian. We also vote for the party. As I'm talking now, I am electoral area coordinator of MPP in Achiteti here. As I'm talking now, I don't have no place to sleep. It's a problem.
So wait, you now don't have a place to sleep or what?
I don't have no place to sleep.
Really?
This is my house. I don't have no place to sleep. I and my wife and my children, we don't have no place to stay. Now, I was in the room where the sea entered the room. Then I called my wife that she should get out with my children. My mother too is an old woman, so she cannot walk. And my in-law too is also an old man. He cannot also walk. So I have to take them. I have to go and call some people so that we take them from the water. I put them at a certain place where the water is not coming too much at that place. So they are also in the water, but the water is not coming at that place too much. That is the problem we are having now. A lot of the people in the village, all of us, even the Achiteti too, which people are saying that the school children should go there, that place too is not safe.
Unless they can't make something here.
Moses Akoli is the community leader of Fuveme. He says they have given up on using expensive materials for their buildings because they always end up in the ocean.
Formerly, the community is far from here. It's far from here. But through the sea, the tidal of the sea, that is why we came here. So formerly, the town is not here. Fuveme community is not here. But through the tidal wave of the sea, that is why we came here. Formerly, we used block to build our houses, but at now we are using the coconut branches to build our house because we can't use the block to build our house again because the sea is taking the houses and then the block away. Sunday, the sea is very, very rough, and the land is flooded with water. So for that, we can't stay in the water, so we relocate ourselves from this place to the other place. Now we need help from the government, but because we have no amicable solution to solve this erosion problem. So we need the government to come and help us do some work for us so that it can protect the land for us.
Part of the Agokeji and Fuveme communities are already under the ocean, and these buildings are daily reminders to residents about the impacts of climate change. Many of them know that in 5 years' time, their villages will be no more. They'll be completely submerged. Some of them have already started removing the roofing sheets of their buildings. They say that the buildings cannot withstand the anger of these tidal waves.
So from our change of subject,
I'm now at the Fuveme Basic School where final year students are preparing for their final examinations next week. According to teachers, over 200 students now study in 2 classrooms after tidal waves destroyed portions of the school on Sunday. Francis Nomanyo is a teacher at the Fuveme Basic School. He says the situation is affecting academic work.
Okay, this class used to be the JHS3 class. Once we have this class, the first one, JHS3. Once we have the JHS1 and 2 there.
Okay.
And this used to be our staff, where we sit as teachers. Yeah, this class, yeah. This is where we sit, the staff common room for the teachers. And then this is class 6. So, you see, as you can see, we don't have enough classroom earlier. So we combine class 6 and then class 5 in this class.
Okay.
Yeah, and over here we have class 3 and 4 here.
Okay.
And you have class 1 there, class 1 and 2 there, and then KG1 and KG2 there.
Okay.
That is how we used to live in the school.
And that has been destroyed?
Yeah, it has been destroyed. Yeah, I was posted to Fuveme around September 2014 from college. So basically Fuveme is around very close to Bokbobo. That is where we used to call Fuveme. So I was posted there. So the first day I was going there, it was so hectic. I have to walk from Ashiteti to Fuveme, very far. And when I got to the school, we have some beautiful structures, and then we have from KG1 to class 6, and also another classroom that is from JHS1 to JHS3. We also have the teacher's bungalow and then the headmaster's office. These are all the facilities we have at the school then. So it was so refreshing, a fresh teacher from college posted to such an environment. It came to a time and then people came and they were talking of relocating the school to this new place, this place where we are currently. Then this place was, we say, a safe haven. And they were thinking of relocating the school to here. And then we were also saying that, no, there's a need for us to have a permanent solution to this problem. And that is the sea defense. But then they said, oh, they have to relocate the school to this place. And this is where we are now. And as you can see, the sea has taken over this place too. So in a nutshell, the permanent solution for this problem is the sea defense. Currently, we have 2 classrooms, as you can see. This building used to be 6 classrooms, but the 4 of them has been destroyed by the sea. Now we have only two classrooms. And then from KG1 to JHS2 are occupying 1 classroom, and the Form 3s are in 1 classroom too. That is what we are doing now. For that, no effective teaching can go on when we combine, let's say, from KG1 to JHS3. We cannot do any effective teaching. So we are only attending to the JHS3 for now because they will be starting their BEC on Monday. That is 15th of this month.
This is not the first
Koku
time.
Awuye is the Municipal Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers. He's here to do an assessment of the situation. He says urgent government intervention is needed.
This is not the first time this is happening in this environment. It has been happening every year. 1999, I was here to visit the school and to see the staff. And then I went back to report this to the directorate with the mind that they will do something about it. Nothing was done. And then last year too, 2020, the same problem happened. And I was here with the General Secretary of NAT, where we donated life jackets to the school. And then come 2021, the same problem has brought us here again. Look at the entire school infrastructure. It has been taken over by the tidal waves. So this is the situation. It has been happening every year. It has become a ritual. But looking at the situation now, This one is more devastating, where the children are to stay and then study, have been taken over by the sea. So now we have about 234 pupils in this school. And then we have only 2 classrooms left. So what the headmaster did was to combine them into these 2 classrooms. And then the teachers go in turns to what? To teach them generally. Because each class has a combination of about, because we have KG to J3. So it means with that small classroom, we have about 6 classrooms combining. And when you look at it professionally, it's not the best way to go. But alternatively, the teachers have no choice. And that's the only way they can manage it for now. So now we are appealing to the government, especially the president, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, that should come to the aid of these young children so that their future will not be halted. Because look at what we are experiencing now. From Monday 15th, those in Form 3 will start their BAC exams. Now they have no place to sit and study. And it will affect them. Yeah, where the next school is located, it will take about 15 minutes for the kids to move from this community called Fuveme to the nearest town called Atiteti. And it is very hectic because they have to walk in the sand. Because no vehicle can move there except 4x4. So meaning they have to walk every day 15 minutes from this community to Atiteti and back.
Well, so that's the situation in the Anglo district, that's Fuveme. They're not alone. We've talked about the situation at Keji Copper, we've talked about the situation at Salah Copper. And on Tuesday, the National Disaster Management Organization was there. They distributed some relief items, and the people have been asking for more. So we want to find out when NADMO intends to go back, whether they're done with the distribution of relief items. Their motto says prevention. And so going forward, how do they intend to prevent these things from happening? And we have Seji Amedonu, who is the Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, joining us. So good evening, Seji, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening, Winston.
Great. So you actually led the team to these affected areas. Now, when are you going back? Are you done with the distribution?
Oh, not at all. I mean, our work, it's a continuous job. You said earlier that our motto is to prevent disasters. So we work around the clock, even pre-disaster stage, during disaster, and when disaster also occurs. We'll be going back very soon.
You'll be going back to give them more relief items?
Exactly. We'll
so that means what you've presented now is not enough?
No. It's just the initial relief. You know what happened? There were people who could not go back to their homes. So NADMO, together with the district assembly, identified some places as safe havens where they moved the people to. So most of the relief items we sent on Tuesday were to address the immediate needs of those people who have been moved from their homes. The data we have taken indicated that some people went to stay with their relatives and friends. As we go back, we are going to be targeting those people as well, because we have built a data for all the 15 communities across the 3 municipalities.
And based on your data, how many people have been displaced?
Close to 4,000. I think what we have, the exact figures we had
on Wednesday. Yes, on Wednesday you were indicating that you had, yes, on Tuesday you said you had close to 4,000.
Yes.
After Tuesday, this is Thursday.
Yes.
Are you still with the, almost 4,000 figure? Haven't you been able to update your assessment?
Yes, we have. We have not gotten people also coming out or identifying that they have been affected. Our staff, our zonal staff and our district staff are already in the communities. They live with the people. So they know the very houses that have been affected and those that have been affected. They actually did the registration
so is it a
on the
case
ground.
Of, yes, so is it a case of you don't have those figures now, or they haven't updated the number?
As we speak, the number is still around 4,000, which is about 3,900 and almost.
When you went on Tuesday, what was the number?
The same.
The same number?
Yes, because this number was arrived at finally, I think on Tuesday, after they have finished the registration, in all the 15 areas. You know, if you know the nature of these communities, it is not a vast area that after going around to do assessment and register people, some people will be left unattended to. So within the period of Sunday and Monday into Tuesday, registration was going on in all the zones. Because as I already mentioned earlier, we have staffs who are living with the people. We have staffs at the district level and at zonal level who live in the community. So when the incident started happening on Sunday, our staff, NADMO, was on the ground. It was only Tuesday that we moved in with relief. Some activities happened when the incident was going on. The movement of the people from their homes to the safe havens was done by NADMO in collaboration with the district assembly's staff.
Mm. How many mattresses did you take to these affected areas?
Oh, what we sent was enough to take care of those.
How many of them?
We took about 100 mattresses.
About 100?
About 100 mattresses. 100 mattresses for those who were at the safe havens.
So tell me.
And not only mattresses.
100?
Not only mattresses.
No, hold on. You took 100.
Let me just...
No, I just want to be able to quote you. So 100. You took 100 mattresses?
Yes, 100 mattresses. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, so not only mattresses, because we normally do distribution of mattresses with blankets, mosquito nets, and mosquito coil. So we have mattresses and we have almost about 100 bale of blankets too as well.
How many people were in these safe havens?
Well, the safe haven that I visited, or in Keta, the safe haven that is recorded in Keta municipality is the one at the community center at Kejikofe, where they have close to about 60 people there.
Okay.
Yes.
How about those at Salakofe and the other areas?
Well, the Salakofe, they didn't have a safe haven. What happened in Salakofe on Monday, when the incident happened on Sunday, on Monday, the municipal chief executive, together with the NADMO district director and the fire service, were able to pump some of the waters from the homes of the victims into the lagoon, because the lagoon was closer and the water level of the lagoon was lower than that of the sea. So they managed to pump the waters out. So fortunately, somehow, we couldn't, people were not displaced to the point of moving them to safe haven. But when this incident occurred earlier in the year, we had a basic school at Salakofe where we moved the people to. But in this particular instance, what happened was quickly the municipal assembly and fire service, and together with NADMO, did some work to get some people, some temporary relief.
You just saw the clip we showed, Fuvama.
Yes.
The man who says he's electoral area coordinator of the NPP says he has nowhere to sleep.
Yeah.
Did he get any of the relief items you sent?
Yeah, I'm sure, because what we normally do is that it is our local staff who does this distribution.
But you heard him. This is something we did yesterday.
Yes.
He says he has nowhere to sleep. So is the evidence not clear? He didn't get it.
Yeah. Fuvema is one of the communities that was hardest hit.
Exactly.
Seriously.
And that's why it's surprising that they haven't got anything.
Yes, I know that our staff in the Agulon district, because after I went to Kejikofe, I went to Jita Jita, when I got to Jita, it was getting late. I met some of the victims in Jita. Fuveme is after Jita, and I think I met one of the gentlemen that was that you interviewed on the clip there. They also have not been moved to a safe haven. Most of them are still in their homes that were flooded. That's what is happening. And I saw myself that some people were trying to arrange blocks, cement blocks, on top of each other,
and so that they get some elevation. Yeah, so they could raise their beds and sleep.
Exactly. Yes. So in our second phase, I mean, in mobilizing to go back, second phase, one of the requirements one of the requests that they made, which is urgent and we are working on, and I'm sure latest by close of day or tomorrow they will have gotten it, is tent for the Fuveme area and tent for the K2 South. I think they requested.
So in saying tent for the Fuveme area, you're telling us that when it comes to Fuveme, there are people who would need safe havens who, under the circumstances, do not have. And so you are preparing to go and assist them.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's 5-6 days, Sergi.
No. When the thing happened, as I told you, we have staff already on the ground.
Yeah, but you're telling me that you're now going to give them tents because you admit that some of these people do not have safe havens where they can sleep. Yeah. And that's why you're taking tents there. And it's taking you 6 days.
But Winston, I said that when the thing happened, those who were in critical conditions were the ones moved to safe havens. That's what I said.
So they're not in critical condition. Why are you taking tents to them?
I don't get you.
Well, so, I mean, they have a place to sleep now, don't they?
Yes, but not conducive. Not conducive. That's why I told you that I saw myself, people arranging blocks to get, an elevated surface.
Yeah, so the places where they sleep.
So people like that, those places, people like that, the person is still sleeping in his home. People like that, we want to move those people to a much better place. But what is happening, what we monitored from even today, from yesterday to today, is that the water itself is receding. A lot of pumping has happened between Tuesday and today, from homes and from the communities. A lot has happened in both in the three municipalities, in the Agrongan district, Kata district, and the K2 South district.
So when it comes to Fuveme and some of these areas, you say, based on what you saw, their homes were not the best of places for them to sleep based on what had happened.
Yes.
But unfortunately, they decided to sleep there. So you want to take them out of that place.
Some of the places.
Some of the places.
Exactly. And we also actually met some of them who had moved to where their relatives are. We got quite a number of them who have moved to stay with relatives and friends for the meantime. And all those people have been registered and captured by our data.
So on Tuesday, we spoke with the the acting Volta Regional Director of the National Disaster Management Organization, Eben Azuma.
Azuma, yes.
And he was telling us about how you're trying to mobilize and all. That was on Tuesday, 2 or 3 days after the storm surge. What was the challenge? What was the difficulty in mobilizing these relief items?
No, but as I mentioned earlier, when a disaster happens, immediately we are on the ground. We normally start with what we call search and rescue, trying to rescue the people who are maybe trapped and in this instance, that's why I mentioned identify a safe haven and moving the people there. Then we do a quick assessment and move in some items. Our operations are hinged on the district assembly structure. We have what we call a disaster management committee at the district level, which is chaired by the district chief executive and has the NADMO director as the secretary. This committee has all the agencies in the district represented on it. So you have the director of health, the director of education, and these are the people who meet when there is a disaster. What are the immediate measures we take. So it is based on the information they relay to us through the region to national, then we act. As I speak to you, I know in the Anglon district, the District Disaster Management Committee, interestingly, most of the members of that committee are members of the District Security Committee too as well. So this issue is a disaster issue, but it's also a security issue as well. Okay. So they have had their district security meeting to look at all the challenges. For example, Fuveme, they are looking at how temporarily they can move the students to Atitiati, especially those who are going to write the exam, because your story even accurately captured it that they have cramped all the students in the school into 2 classrooms. Yes. And reserved one of the classrooms for those they are preparing for the BEC next week. I spoke to the district chief executive this morning, and he said they have had that meeting, and the difficulty is trying to get the community people to agree, because it's quite a distance. Between Fuveme and Atitiati is less than a kilometer anyway, but you are going to be walking in the sand. It's not a boat travel unless you are using a 4x4. You know, in those areas, that's not going to happen. So the students will have to walk to Atitiati, but that decision is being looked at. So the management of all this is looked at by all the agencies in the district, and that is what we do as NADMO. We coordinate the response. We are not actually the provider of everything. We coordinate the response. So as we speak, we are working with other NGOs, other organizations to see what we can bring in.
Your acting voter director said you are under-resourced.
Well, I don't know the context in which he said that.
The context was simple. Why have relief items not been taken to the people? He says,
yeah, but we've sent...
We are under-resourced. We are trying to mobilize. You haven't sent everything. You've told us that, I mean, the next batch is going to go.
So that's the context.
So are you
I don't know any government agency in this country that is self-sufficient.
Is NADMO under-resourced?
We run a budget. Every organization.
My question to you is very simple. Is NADMO under-resourced?
Well, what we need to respond to disasters at this moment, we have, but well, we need more. No agency has. Hold on. We have 2 levels of budget.
All you need to respond to.
Certainly no.
You don't have it.
Certainly no. We can't. And
why can't you?
This is how the structure works. NADMO coordinates all agencies that respond. So let's say we need a tractor, or let's say we need a bulldozer. Let's say we need other agencies might have those bulldozers or have those machinery or equipment that we need to respond. All we do is to coordinate with those agencies. So we have a disaster management plan. We have a national disaster management plan where we have an asset base of every agency. In the mind of the framers of the NADMO law, that came up with the idea of the District Disaster Management Committee. They decided to make the administrative head, the highest political head in every municipality, as the chair, because it is that chairperson of that committee, which in this case is the municipal chief executive, that has the authority to commandeer any resource.
Sergi, so you say we took 100 mattresses.
Yes.
We are mobilizing to send additional mattresses.
Yes.
That's enough reason, and it's enough indication that you're under-resourced. You say no government institution is sufficient.
That is...
But let me get to another thing. You are from Keji, right?
Yes, I come from Keji.
Where is Keji?
Keji is after Keta when you are moving to Agaveji to Aflau. Interestingly, the first Keta Sea Defense Project targeted the Keta area through to Keji and through to Agaveji, and that is where it stopped.
Yes.
So immediately after Agaveji, you get your Salakofa Dina, that area. So that is what the Works and Housing Minister spoke about recently, that they are in discussions with the finance.
Can you locate where you grew up?
Yes.
If you go back to Keji.
Oh yes. That's, I just indicated that a sea defense was built. So I don't want to even say fortunate. I don't, in this circumstance, I have part of my village saved because of the Qatar Sea Defense project.
So you have part of your village saved?
Exactly.
Did you see, growing up there, did you see areas that were taken by the sea?
My family house, unfortunately, is inside the sea, the place that has been reclaimed. Where I grew up, actually, the reclamation did not get to that point. If you know Keji very well.
So where you grew up is in the sea?
It's in the sea.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yes.
Because I know Keji.
Yes.
I mean, I was around when the sea defense was being built.
Yes. So the sea defense actually saved the rest of the land. A part of, there was some reclamation also done, a little reclamation to add to what was left. So you know, when you are driving from Keta towards Aflao, on your left-hand side is the lagoon. Okay. On your right-hand side is the sea.
How does it feel when you go to Keji knowing that, and you know that where you grew up is now in the sea?
Well, it's quite terrible, very terrible. And that is why what is happening now, I mean, going there, it is emotional, very, very emotional. You see that these people are virtually helpless. They've realized that their existence, their very existence, their very livelihood, where they are, is almost gone. It's quite a very serious thing and very pathetic. But I have been saying, Winston, that the coast of Ghana, it is a very important ecological site for the whole of the country. The protection of it is the responsibility of everyone. It is not just the people who live there, because that is the coast of Ghana. It is not the coast of Keji or the coast of Salakofe or the coast of Uvama. It is the coast of Ghana. It just happened that some people come from there. Government over the years have started trying to protect the place.
Okay. So let me take you back to your narration about being a very emotional thing for you. Now, did you at any point in time experience a surge where people were homeless when you were growing up?
Yes, I would say that growing up at some point, when we were going to our family house, we have to sit on canoes. When you just get off from Keta and come to the Keji road, the main road, before you get to the house, the whole place is already flooded, because what actually happened was the sea actually merged with the lagoon at some point. But, I mean, it was shallow. So you will sit in a boat, and the boat will take you to the family house. Almost everything was placed on stones. That was before the sea defense project. But it got worsened a few years after this incident I described. Then the issue of the sea defense came in, and the rest of the community and houses were then saved by that sea defense.
Your motto, prevention. Could we have prevented these things?
That would be difficult to say, because, I mean, the climate change issue is a global issue. The perpetrators of activities, or those who engage in activities that cause climate change, I don't think they even suffer as much as those of us who contribute less to the climate change issues. We suffer more than so it's a bigger problem. But as I said earlier, the protection of the coast is the responsibility of the country. The sea defense has been done to a certain point. The continuation of it will bring down this annual and perennial flooding that happens as a result of the tide. The tidal waves will keep happening. You know why they happen. It is not by anybody's doing, but I mean the kind of situation that we are in now. So they will keep. This year, this is actually the third time we are going to that particular area. This is the third time. It's just that this time, Keta and Anglo is involved. earlier on in the year, twice we have been to the K2 South area. So it will keep happening. And I'm sure you have listened to almost all political leaders from that area. And everybody is talking about the defense.
Talking about the defense. I'll get back to you shortly, since everyone is talking about the defense. This is Upfront on the JoyNews channel. I'm Winston. Tonight, my guest is Saji Amadun, who is Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization. When we return after these few messages, we'll continue our conversation. We'll look at a bit about the solution from their point of view. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Right, so welcome back, and thank you very much for staying with us here on Upfront on the JoyNews channel. And tonight, we're looking at the situation in the southern part of the Volta region. We're talking about the K2 South and Keta municipalities, as well as the Angola district, and finding out how we can assist those who have been affected. And I'm privileged to be joined by a son of the land, that's Saji Amadun, who is the Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization. So, you've been talking about how there's always the need for help and all of that. I see a group of indigents like you starting a campaign. I don't know whether you've seen it, but we've been talking about it. What do you make of that campaign?
No, I think it's in the right direction. I don't know whether you listen to... your station spoke, one of your stations spoke to the regional minister, and he said people who come from the area and other organizations are also mobilizing to move in to assist the people. And NADMO itself will also be going back, because we are in discussions with a number of organizations who are also coming to provide other activities. We are even looking at health screening for some of the affected victims as well. So it is in the right direction that, well, it is a humanitarian issue. And the call for well-meaning Ghanaians to come in and help is in the right direction.
Are you prepared?
Already, I know there's some NGO on the ground. As we went there, we met one NGO. But what I would like to say is that any NGO that moves, or any group of people that moves in to help the people, there is some protocols in trying to administer relief in this country. It is important that they get to meet the authorities of the area, especially the municipality, and they will have to know what are they sending to the people, in order for us not to have any backlash of other issues when it comes to administering of relief to affected victims when a disaster occurs. So I would like to call on anybody, any group of persons, any organization, any NGO who wants to support the people. There's a channel to do it, but your first point of call should be with the municipality, the chief executive, and they will look at and they will guide you, because they have the data. They have taken the data as to those who have been affected and where they are. So that's very important.
Okay, so I see that, for instance, if you go to Chango, there's an app, Chango app, that says, if you go, let me just, if you go to the Chango app, you would see the Volta Tidal Waste Relief Fund. So it's relief funds for Keta, K2 South, and Angola districts. And you can download it on the Play Store, App Store, and then you can donate to the fund. And you can also, if you don't have the Chango app, you can just do that by using the short code *887 *889#. So this is a way of
that's
raising.
A good one. Yeah,
that's a good one. I mean, I've been speaking to Ken Ashigbe and others who are leading this, and they say they need 1,000 people to donate 1,000 Ghana cedis. I'm sure you can afford that. Would you be willing to support them?
That is where I come from. So anything to help. My organization itself is well involved in trying to.
Yeah, but I want them. I want
individually. No problem. That's where I come from, and why not?
You want to help?
Yes. Why not?
So I should direct them to you. So you're going to download the app and do that?
Yes. Why not? I'll do that.
That is
aside. Yes, that is aside from what the organization and what is government is doing to help the people.
Somebody will say, wouldn't that be more like you are part of NADMO and you are saying, I'm willing to do this privately? Isn't it more like an indictment on your organization that should be leading this? The fact that your organization is unable to do what is expected of it?
No, but as individual, I do help people. If people are in some difficulty, why not? Is it because I work in an organization? Is the organization that must necessarily... No, the organization has its mandate to carry out. And that is what we are doing. But aside that, in disaster management, it is not only one agency or one person or one group. That's why I already mentioned that our responsibility is to coordinate the activities of helping people.
That's great. I mean, that's great. But
yes.
Let's look at solving this. Sea defense, but beyond the sea defense, what other options are on the table?
Well, let me say that the long-term solution to this problem is beyond the mandate of NADMO. We only come in when there are humanitarian issues.
Yes, but NADMO can advise now.
I'm coming. You mentioned something earlier about prevention.
Yes.
We in disaster management, we know that if you have capacity to withstand the shock of a disaster than if you don't have capacity. So that brings in what we call livelihood and all that. This incident has affected even the livelihood of the people there. So after reclaiming or sea defense and so on, the people themselves, their livelihood is also very important. And that is, we have a whole department in NADMO that also deals with that. We do look for programs and interventions that can help people in disaster-prone areas. As an organization, we have already profiled the country. We know the disaster profile of the country, where our flash points are and all that. And we know that the capacity of the people staying there, if it is enhanced, in construction or in building their homes, they will build homes that will stand the vagaries of the weather. In taking decisions, because they have the capacity, they will take decisions that will not make them more vulnerable in those areas. So beyond the question you asked, beyond the sea defense, as an organization that deals with disasters, we will also be looking at the livelihood of the people too in those areas.
When you say we are looking at the livelihoods, you want to help improve their livelihoods so they can build better homes that can withstand further shocks beyond beyond the sea defense. Is that what you're saying?
No, maybe no. What I'm saying, your question was beyond the sea defense, what happens? And I stress that the long-lasting solution to the problem is beyond the mandate of my organization.
So let me help you understand. So what options do you have on the table now in dealing with a storm surge? Have you considered relocating the people?
Well, that is a tough one. It is something on the table we have been talking about. The Fuvema incident you saw, where the incident happened this time, it's a relocated place. That's not the original Fuvema. So relocation has even happened in this situation, but still, well, they were not relocated further away from the sea, but they were just relocated maybe to a higher ground in the same area. And this has occurred. The Atitiati I even mentioned is also closer to the sea, but it is a bit higher ground than this place. So, well, relocation, yes, is on the table, but it comes with its own challenges.
What are those challenges?
Oh, you know, it is difficult for people to move from where they come from. People believe that their whole being, their soul, their ancestry, everything is very difficult. And these are issues that the local authorities, the municipality, the assembly, and everything will have to look at. And I know there are discussions going on as to how to solve the problem in the medium term. Yes, I know there are discussions as to that. And relocation, yes, it's been discussed, but as to whether that's going to be a definite decision, that I'm not in a position to. But I'm just mentioning some of the challenges that come with it. It is difficult for people. I remember when this thing happened in April, and when my Director General addressed a group of people and talked about relocation, a few of them violently said, no, they can't live here, which is a challenge. But it was just a conversation he was having with them. But look at the reaction. But so all the stakeholders have to look at this thing carefully. But as I've been saying since the beginning of the program, that the coastal belt of this country is for this country, not for the people. Let's look at the problem beyond the people there. That Ghana has a coast. That coast must be protected. It just happens that we come from that area. If the coast is protected, it is the coast of Ghana. It is not the coast of Keji. It is not the coast of Agaveji or coast of Fuvama. It is the coast of Ghana. And I think that, as I said earlier, governments over the years are making frantic efforts to build sea defense. We have some at Jita, we have some at the Keta area, and the one that has got into Agaveji. And I said earlier on that I heard the Minister for Works and Housing on Monday mention that he's having frantic discussions with the Minister of Finance for the completion of the sea defense. So from Agaveji, it will take, the sea defense will go up to Aflao, which I hear is about 8 kilometers. When that is done, at least the rest of the community, the land will be protected, and the people will have some long-lasting relief.
Saji Amadunu, thank you very, very much, Chair, for joining us. And Saji Amadunu is the Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO. On behalf of the team, thank you very much for joining us. And tomorrow on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM, we'll be continuing with the discussion. And I told you about the private citizens from the Volta region who have decided to launch this fund. And Saji has pledged that he wants to donate and support the fund. Now, they'll be joining us tomorrow on the Super Morning Show because lots of you are showing interest in helping our brothers and sisters from the Volta region. My name is Winston. I'm on behalf of the team. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good evening. Keep watching the JoyNews channel.